Good morning and welcome to the Camnet Breakfast. I'm Patrick Soko, your usual host, the only one mandated to boast of loving you the most, our dear viewers, for your contribution and dedication to national matters. And just today we have a fully packed program for you. Just stick around as we continue to bring you the deliberations on the breakfast. As usual, Thursday we deal with governance and policy on the Camnet Breakfast with me, Patrick Soko, and my co-host, Shalon Kalimbula. And just now, we are going to go into our first segment we call Morning Booster with Isaac Machisa. Stay tuned.
Good morning, viewers, and welcome to our morning boost. I am Isaac Machisa, and I'm back. And let's do something quick now. I need that. Let's go. One each. Just 5 minutes every morning. You're good to go. Let's go. One knee each. Two knees now. 1, 2. 1, 2. 2 knees each. Two each. 2. And back here, match. Let's match. Let's go. Let's go. Go. Let's go. And we're going to do a little bit of abs today. A bit of abs. Let's go. Steady. Stretch. All right. Let's do a bit of abs now. Okay? Let's see how many we can do. So I'm going to lie down here. Join me. Come with me. Ready? No more crunch. Imagine you have a coin here. So you need to lift your head. Go. Ten, take a break. 10 seconds, 20, no, not 20, 10 or 5 or 15 maximum. Let's go another 10. Let's go. 21. Okay, so let's do abs now. 1, 2, 3, 4. 10. 20. 30. So remember, I need to be taking some breaks in between, but I need a straight 30. After 10 abs, take a 10 seconds break or 15. Let me give you my last 10. Let's go. 10, 9,
4, 3, 2, and 1.
Okay. So try that, and it's gonna work good for you. Let's go. So that was for the abs. You do that, then I'm gonna introduce another workout, then we'll be signing out soon. Okay, so relax your muscles, and there we go again now. Let's work on the bats now. So I'll do 10 each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Next workout, straight. Then you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Last 10. Go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And good morning. Have a great day. This has been Isaac Matsa, and I'm gonna see you next week at the same time. Remember always to have a morning boost before you go out for the day. Thanks.
Welcome back. You are still watching the Camnet Breakfast Show with me, Patrick Soko, and my co-host Sharon Kalimbula. Sharon, good morning.
Good morning, Patrick.
It's quite a good morning indeed. And
you know
I know. I may know one or two why you are excited.
Anyways, good morning to you, our viewers.
Exactly. And as I think that was a quite a good exercise from Isaac Matsa as usual, but and I think it is more appropriate, especially this time of the weather, because it gets you into the active mode, especially that it's cold and people would want to stick to the bed, but you're better off getting off your bed and just do that exercise. You can do that drill with us every day as we come for the breakfast show from Monday to Saturday, and do that 5-minute workouts with your family, and then you are good to go for the rest of the day. And you can also do it just at your own time to ensure that you keep fit, to stay away from non-communicable diseases. So these are issues that we need to take seriously as a country, because we have to keep fit. And just now we're going to another interesting segment we call Health Corner with the Medical Women Association of Zambia. Let's see what they have prepared for us. Stay tuned.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Manga Naluve, and I'm with the Medical Women's Association of Zambia. This week, we've been discussing a very important topic, which is high blood pressure, or otherwise known as hypertension. So far, we've discussed what it is and its risk factors. We mentioned that high blood pressure could be primary or secondary. We also mentioned that it's affected by three things. Your blood pressure is affected by three main important things, which are your cardiac output, your blood volume, and your resistance in the arteries. We also listed some of the risk factors, which are the things which give you a higher chance of having hypertension. So some of these risk factors were obesity, old age, high salt intake, increased or high alcohol intake, certain conditions such as diabetes and kidney disease. And then we also went ahead and talked about the signs and symptoms and the complications of high blood pressure. So we said that high blood pressure is usually a silent killer. mostly people will go through their lives without knowing that they had high blood pressure and only come to the hospital with complications. Some of the complications we mentioned were things such as blindness, which is visual loss. We also mentioned things such as kidney disease. We also mentioned things such as heart attacks, and the most important one being a stroke. Why is it very important? Because hypertension or high blood pressure is the #1 leading cause of stroke. And imagine going to the hospital with a complication when this is something that you'd have known earlier and you'd have been on medication. So we also mentioned that having regular BP checks, either in your clinic or having a BP machine at home if you're living with high blood pressure, is very important. So on today's segment, we're going to talk about treatment. Yesterday we looked at diagnosis, and so we saw how doctors find out that you have high blood pressure. We said I can't easily make a decision or a diagnosis of high blood pressure if I'm your doctor just by looking at you or just by you telling me the signs and symptoms that you have. I would have to measure your BP, and mostly this diagnosis is not made based on a one-off reading. We do several readings to see if you actually have this hypertension, and so we make this diagnosis after doing several readings and not just one. So treatment, usually we have two forms of treatment which we do together. So one of the things, the first and most important thing is lifestyle modification. What do I mean by that? Is changing your lifestyle. So we mentioned the risk factors that lead to high blood pressure. So if we do something about these risk factors, we can therefore prevent you having, or prevent or reduce your blood pressure if it has already begun, if you already have high blood pressure. So when it comes to risk factors, we have risk factors that can be changed. We call these modifiable, and we have risk factors that cannot be changed. We call these non-modifiable. An example of one that cannot be changed is your family history. So you do not choose what family you're born into, and so if you're born into a family that has, in which people have high blood pressure, the chance that you get high blood pressure is already increased. So that's something that you cannot change. So it's a non-modifiable risk factor. But we have some modifiable risk factors which now we focus our treatment of high blood pressure on. So some of the modifiable risk factors, or in other words, risk factors that we can change, are, for example, obesity. So if you are obese or overweight, the doctor will usually tell you to reduce your weight. So how do you reduce your weight? By changing your diet to have a more balanced diet, and also exercise. So you'll be asked to increase your exercise. Mostly we tell people that even if you don't have high blood pressure, each person should at least be active. You can even take a walk for at least 30 minutes. That's enough activity for one day. So if you take a 30 minutes walk every day, it's good activity. So you're not just being sedentary, but you are exercising every day. And so when it comes to treatment of high blood pressure, we focus on the risk factors that can be changed. So I've said obesity, or being overweight, can be changed. You can lose weight by changing your diet and exercising. Another modifiable risk factor is stopping taking alcohol and also stopping smoking. So you can stop smoking and you can stop taking alcohol, and we will notice that you have a reduction in your blood pressure. For those people who do not, in which these lifestyle modifications, we do not see any change when they make these lifestyle modifications, we put them on drugs. But these drugs are not just for people who have tried lifestyle modifications. In some cases, we start with drugs immediately. So it depends on how high your blood pressure is also. So we call these drugs antihypertensives. Those are the drugs that we use in blood pressure control, in high blood pressure control. There are a number of antihypertensives. We won't go into that. But very important is that we should know there are so many myths that go around about hypertension, about high blood pressure. We know of people living with high blood pressure who refuse to take their drugs or refuse to do lifestyle modifications. So that's changing their lifestyle. It could be either losing weight, exercising. We've already talked about that. So it's important, if you're a person living with hypertension, you follow everything that the doctor has told you to do. If you've been given medication to take, every day, it's better you take that medication every day to avoid the complications that we talked about. The complications are very grave, they're very big. We mentioned things such as stroke. You don't want to have a stroke because you couldn't take your medication. So if the doctor has prescribed a certain medication for you to take because of your hypertension, it's good that you follow that to avoid complications. Actually, people who take their medication as the doctor tells them increase their quality of life, and you could live a normal life and not have the complications that we talked about. Thank you for watching Health Corner. My name is Dr. Manga Nalube, and I'm with the Medical Women's Association of Zambia.
Well, there you have it. We've been discussing the issue of BP this week, and I'm learning a lot, Sharon. And yesterday you gave me a very good elaboration on the same subject.
Hypertension, BP.
Yes, and where you were talking about, you did not understand why your friend had
exactly.
BP.
Up to today, I somehow still believe that boy was faking it to miss class.
Yeah. So, but I think that we get to appreciate this man.
Exactly.
When I say that. By the end of this year, I'll be a semi-doctor.
There's nothing like that, man. You have to go to school for it.
I'll be an honorary doctor. I'll be an honorary doctor. Others claim to be Dr. Sharon. Just be
Dr. K,
we have a lot of
CK,
doctors.
Dr. KK, Dr. I mean, we've got a lot to mention, but if you...
Even Dr. CK.
Yes, Dr. CK, the famous.
But I can also be honorary Dr. Soko.
With that graduation gown. Why do honorary doctorates have bad gowns? Graduation gowns. But anyways, welcome to it. This is the breakfast. So in case you're just joining us, you haven't missed a lot. You've just missed probably 2 segments of the show. Very important though, and talking about almost the same subjects. The first one, which is the morning boost that helps us keep ourselves fit, and the doctors reminding us that we should do exercises as part of eliminating or avoiding illnesses such as blood pressure, which is hypertension in a normal sense. They call it hypertension. We call it BP. Yes, for a layman's language or a layman person, we call it BP. Let's look at how the money is faring against the major convertibles.
Well, the kwacha is buying at 17 kwacha. 2 ngwe rather, and selling at 17 kwacha 35 ngwe. The British pound is buying at 21 kwacha 27 ngwe and selling at 21 kwacha 69 ngwe. And the euro is buying at 18 kwacha 89 ngwe and selling at 19 kwacha 26 ngwe. And the South African rand, which trades mostly equally with the Zambian kwacha, is buying at 1 kwacha 09 ngwe and selling at 1 kwacha 11 ngwe. Those are your money markets.
Indeed, that's how the kwacha is faring as of today. Remember that these currencies, though these exchange rates differ from one institution to another, but that institution where we get them from, that is how the kwacha is faring against the major convertibles. Patrick, you failed to mention the dollar. Are you agitated by its growth?
maybe.
By its growth?
Maybe I'm agitated. What do you think?
Yeah, because you went like...
I wanted to make sure it was at 16.
Oh my goodness.
But unfortunately, the figures are telling me otherwise. Because figures don't lie, Sharon.
Figures don't lie, as they say, and it actually was proven at some point last year. Figures don't lie.
Yes.
Numbers, actually. That's what they use.
They don't.
Numbers don't lie. So yesterday was Africa Freedom Day, also known as Unity Day, celebrating the formation of the Organization of African Union, and therefore we are still in that celebratory mood over the African continent, the black people, the heritage, and everything that speaks to who we are as Africans. Remember, you can have your contribution on this show by sending in those text messages and also calling in and have a conversation with us on what is happening in your various localities. We have very interesting topics today, Patrick.
Yes, and we are taking your views. We are taking them just now and throughout the program. Should Zambia abolish the death penalty? Or maybe we maintain it in the statute?
That is the bigger question. But
That's
Patrick,
the bigger question.
But Patrick, even if it's there, who has been Naninkani?
That has been the big question,
exactly.
because Zambia has been an abortionist state, in the sense that it means that Zambia does have the death penalty in its statute, but various governments haven't been committing or signing the order of execution of the people who have been committed to death. But so it means Zambia is an abortionist state because it does not want to commit anyone for now. Because we saw, okay, I want to take it very far. I'll take it through to Michael Sata, okay, or to Rupia Banda, Michael Sata, and Edgar Lungu. All these presidents did not commit anyone for hanging. So it means that they served their term without signing that order that, okay, go and execute that one. And most of them would have been executed by now, because those who are serving murder sentences would have been committed to hanging, Sharon. But Zambia has opted not to do that. And I understand, probably because Zambia being a Christian nation, all the presidents haven't been thinking to say, oof, should I myself?
Exactly, you know, because we always have that in mind.
Yeah, but others have also been advancing the argument. So if we remove the death penalty in the statute, probably people may not be, we may think the law is not punitive enough.
They want us to keep it for purposes of deterring people from committing grave crimes.
Yeah, so that's another argument. So it's in our laws, and the President Hakainde Hichilema did speak strongly about Zambia actually moving towards abolishing the death penalty. And we just have to see, we get your feedback as the people, because at the end of the day, laws are for the people, and they are not a preserve of the executive.
No.
Neither is the judiciary or the legislature. Everyone else there has to.
Neither is the fourth estate.
Exactly, Sharon. So we have to make sure that. I like your.
Exactly. You spoke of the judiciary. You spoke of the legislature. You spoke of the. I mean, where are we?
In fact, the fourth estate constitutes of what?
The media.
Oh, good.
It's not a preserve of us.
Yes, so everyone else has a voice, Sharon, because you may be removing a law which the people of Kaputa say, no, we want it. So you have to also make sure you consult them, because that's the essence of democracy. Democracy is about consulting, and it's about accommodating divergent views, even those that you don't like.
Exactly.
So you have to just make sure, say, okay, now, these are the views of the majority. So now democracy now goes with the views of the majority. That's the way it goes. But we have to, in this case, we have to understand which one is the majority. Those who are supporting that the death penalty should be abolished, or those who are suggesting that it should be maintained in the Zambian statutes. So we can get that conversation going, but you can equally give us your perspective, our dear viewers, on this program, so that we can get your side of view in terms of this issue, Sharon.
Indeed, Patrick. For now, though, let's zoom into one of the stories that happened in Kanyama over it's a gender-based violence story that was done by Miriam yesterday, and I'm just trying to connect it to what we're talking about. People that commit crimes or, you know, misdemeanors or anything related in those lines, what kind of punishment should be given to people so that they change their ways? This is a man or a woman that was...
and for GBV, Sharon, people think that we should also go
the punitive
stiff.
way, exactly.
We should go stiff because there are no more deterrent laws on that, because so people think they can still get away with that.
They can still get away with it.
But just like the issue of corruption, maybe others have been suggesting that we also go the issue of non-bailable, just like whereby, because Sharon, you know, you have this, you know that you have the money. Even if you say, okay, Even
I've
if
been
they
arrested
arrest
at
me
12.
tomorrow,
I'll be out by 14.
I'll be out,
With very
you
good
see.
lawyers who know how to maneuver around, who know how to
Yeah.
speak around, who know how to find sureties around. You know, you will not even spend hours in the police cell. So really, these are things that people keep saying they continue happening because there are no laws that really are strict and ensure that perpetrators of these vices are brought to book the way they should, so that it deters them from repeating the vice. But for now, let's look at the stories, and on the other side, you can join in the conversation that we are discussing this morning. Why am I saying afternoon?
You want to knock off early.
Exactly. Good morning to you, our viewers. This is the Breakfast Show. Let's look at this story.
In a surprising turn of events, Richard Peary of Lusaka's John Lane compound, who was recently accused by his wife, Regina Peary, of assaulting her, has refuted some of the claims advanced by his wife of 10 years. Meanwhile, Regina Peary, who first appeared on Camnet TV on the 15th of May 2022, insists that her husband is the abuser in their marriage. Dark shadows and few cut is what has been left on her body after she accused her husband of 10 years for allegedly assaulting and using kitchen pots before he resorted to using punches on her. Mrs. Peary of Lusaka's John Lane compound says she has continued receiving threats from her husband's relatives despite Mr. Peary being released on bond after she got him arrested. Narrating a predicament, states that her husband's family does not want her to take the case to court, but they should resolve the issue. Her cry is that the abuse that her husband of 3 children has put her through is beyond, hence the need for them to separate. However, a challenge is how she will survive, as she has no means. Meanwhile, speaking in his defense, Mr. Peary has refuted claims advanced by his wife and discloses to this reporter that it was actually his wife that assaulted him and ran away with his property.
Ananipanga vilonda njana ntiende mapoto ufanyiwa mutu kwene potawa manje nyumba nikaja vampushinga endo kubwa asikika so after nachita so na mnyumba wangena panipaja alipo nyumba wapana katundu futi munyumba ezo chitamunga nipandi muvu chekweze na muntu chevagulizana kutaka fundulaine wabba pintu After naenda ndiye mwene nachokerapo seni nafuela alapo anikomera mnyumba naitoifanya loko manje kuzipeza ati niende kunipumule pa nyumba aende nitanewa kapokola ndiye kunienda ngene kama zote.
And Concerned Citizen for Justice and Human Rights Organization has bemoaned the increased level of gender-based violence among women.
We are very much disturbed that members of the family to the husband's side, they are busy condemning the woman to report the matter to the police. The victims, they don't need to be victimized. They need to be supported and protected. So we are very much disturbed because there is increased number of cases instead of reduction. I think we need to do more.
According to the country's first quarter of 2022 gender-based violence, 6,915 cases were reported countrywide compared to 4,254 recorded in the first quarter of 2021, of showing an increase of 2,661 cases, translating to 62.5%, with Lusaka province recording their highest. Miriam Kaimba reporting for Camnet TV News.
On October 24, 1964, Zambia got its independence, freeing itself from its colonial dominance. This was made possible with tireless effort by the forefathers across the country who thought of nothing but the best for its people and the future generations. As Zambia joins in the commemoration of the Africa Freedom Day, a Lusaka-based freedom fighter has called on the government to identify senior citizens who fought for independence across the country and put them on support programs as a way of appreciation. Mr. Ronald Chikopela, 84 years of age, from Lusaka's John Howard compound, has lamented our government has neglected him and other senior citizens. He says this during an interview with Camnet News. And senior citizen Henry Mlenga has called on the youth to take advantage of the knowledge from older generations as a form of knowledge exchange.
Muma request yonse nangwa president wale pellet filambo kuma freedom fighters. Takwa banangu gumokuno kujona. Secondly, kuli ababene abakalamba balya. Bantu abayishi benchito shimbi sharp sana kusana. In all of fair, yali no bwakuba yakutati abakalamba balefunda mu misepela. Nchito shakala. But tuikala fe kumayanda takwa bife tufunda banayo kuse kuno kujona wati teti batupele ko fenango ni area inono uko tuingala chita offload ifyo tuwaishi bakale twasambirisha abana igefitu chiripacha wa skills.
The purpose of the African Freedom Day was to annually mark the liberation movement's progress and to symbolize the determination of the people of Africa to free themselves from foreign domination and exploitation. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, in Lusaka.
Quite interesting clips there from Prudence Chota's report, Sharon.
Indeed, quite interesting clips there from yesterday, the Africa Freedom Day. Like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, that we are still in that zone, still in that mood, and Prudence Chota has once again managed to just make us laugh and smile. And
we were trying to make sure that our source does not make us laugh. She managed to do
to make us laugh. But on the other side, though, exactly, Patrick. On the other side, we have Mr. Biswell Mutale, Patriotic Front National Mobilization Committee member, who always joins us via Zoom platform. Patrick, he hasn't been on set with us, but wants to use this technological aspect that was brought to us and made us realize how important it was due to COVID-19. But you are aware of that.
And he has been there to test our ability to do those interviews using online platforms, because we are equally ready for any interview beyond Zambia, Sharon, via Zoom, even with Mr. Mutale. We are doing it while he's also, it should be in South Africa, is it?
Yes.
Yeah, but we are managing. That's how COVID-19 has helped us realize the importance of technology, that sometimes you don't need to physically go for a conference, but you can actually interact using these existing platforms.
Mr. Mutale, welcome to this interview. Good morning.
Good morning, Sharon. How are you? And good morning to the viewers.
Thank you so much. You seem to be in a very good mood.
Always.
Mr. Mutale, we get the conversation going where we ended. And this next month, we are in June, where we'll be talking about the convention of the Patriotic Front. Though they were talking about raising resources and that members should contribute resources. Mr. Mutale, are you going to contribute towards the hosting of the convention?
Thank you very much, Patrick. Yes, the convention is going on, and those are the conversations that have been going on within the Patriotic Front. And I think as a Patriotic Front member, I have added my contribution towards the discussion and the preparation. And a lot has been happening lately within the party and externally out of the party. But I think my contribution towards this, from the beginning when the Patriotic Front lost the election, I have done my contribution, and I think from where I'm standing, the party goes on.
Interesting. The party moves on. Let's zoom in to you as a presidential hopeful for the Patriotic Front. Are you still going to contest the race? Because you were among those people tipped to be to take over the leadership from former President Edgar Lungu in terms of taking forward the former ruling party, the PF.
Thank you very much, and I think I would like to take this opportunity to state the following. I have been very loyal to the party, and I have worked with Patriotic Front. I've done my contribution into the party, and my words, my voice, my actions has been loud and clearly heard. I've got to a point where I have to tell the nation that I think as Biswa Mutale, with all the energy and the effort I have put in this party, it has to come to an end with immediate effect. I will have to step down to represent the Patriotic Front and to wish to stand as the president of the Patriotic Front. It has to come to a point where we are saying we have run the race, we have worked as a team, and I think we need to get to the point where we are saying I have to do what I have to do, and say thank you to the Patriotic Front. I can no longer pretend that all is well within the Patriotic Front. Things are not well in the Patriotic Front. Things are not what you think they are in Patriotic Front. As for one, I am not going to go on and tabulating as I have done before. So, and I want to tell the nation that I'm backing out of the race as the presidential hopeful, and I am stepping down, and I'm resigning as Patriotic Front member with immediate effect. I have met quite a number of friends, number of people that I've worked with, amazing people within the party, and I'll never forget them. But I have to step aside and move on.
Mr. Mutale, there is no resignation or there is no choice as big as this without major reasons. Could it be that your fight to be in the party and to clean up the party was futile?
Yeah,
that's why you're giving up. Yes, was frustrated.
It's not. It could be one of the reasons. Definitely, the party is uncleanable. Let me put it that way. The party is uncleanable. When I want to take you back, when the founding father of the Patriotic Front, President Michael Chilukyasata, His Excellency, may his soul rest in peace. When he was fighting to build this party, he brought almost everybody. And the people that he brought in the party to work with him, he had a policy that he instilled in the people. And that policy that he instilled in the party was working for him, and it was for him who was actually running the party policy in his capacity to suit his need of the moment. But the need of the moment has gone beyond to where we are today, that some people have abused that wish. And some people have opted to abuse others using those wishes that were dead, waiting to get into power. When you are fighting to get into power, when you are fighting to take leadership, the grass suffers, there's casualties on the way. But those casualties have become to be sacrificed. I, for one, have noticed that actually in PF, the work that we have put in has not been recognized, but only the ongoing squabbles and the jokers, circuses that has continued. And I want to lavish that there are some members of Patriotic Front that do not agree with what is going on, who do not agree of what has become of Patriotic Front. I can't even call Patriotic Front that it's a circus. It's no longer a circus because circus, people, they do pay money to go and watch the crowd. Now, we are crowds that actually don't have spectators that can afford to pay, you know. And I cannot be part of that spectators that have got the crowd that can't afford to, the spectators that goes to watch the crowds and they can't even afford to pay because the crowds are not worth paying for. You understand? When we enter into the circus, there are people they pay to watch the crowds. And that's what the PF has become. It has refused to listen. It has refused to be recognized as a patriotic party. And in my association with the Patriotic Party, it has to end. It cannot change. It cannot change. You know?
You've just realized this?
There are many reasons.
Are you able to interpret that Bemba proverb?
When you walk with a person, with the wrong person, you also be wrong. You understand? You'll be wrong as well. You know? You at the feathers that flock together. You understand?
Birds that flock together.
But one song in tune. Exactly.
Feathers that flock
I will
together.
not be that bad. I will not be that bad flocking together. I'm not going to flock with them. I have declined. I think I pretended that all was well in patriotic. I pretended. And hoping that we can find a fine tune to make the party a change and to make the party brandable. Number one, Frankie does not understand the way the rebranding. Everyone is saying rebrand, but they do not understand what is rebranding. And that alone is a problem. Rebranding cannot be applied in patriotic practice. It's a luta continua. That's what is in PF. Luta continua. You know. So I will not be part of anything that can be rebranded or repairable. It's a luta continua. I'm not part of that.
In case you are just joining us, you are watching the Camnet Breakfast, and in conversation we have Bizwell Mutale, who is now former Patriotic Front member, because he has just announced that he's no longer a PF member, and he no longer has intentions to contest the presidency of the party. And in case you want to add to that conversation, you too can equally join us by calling, as well as sending your perspective on our social media platform, especially on Facebook, where we are streaming our breakfast show live. And Mr. Mutale, we understand here that you've been a member of the United Party for National Development, UPND, before you actually defected to the PF. Now, we want to find out, do you have intentions of going back to the UPND?
Going back home, as they call it themselves.
My political career and my political ambitions will be reviewed in the near future.
Why are you answering as if you're in court, Mr. Mutale? We are having a conversation here. We have seen...
We will be reviewed in the future.
We have seen, you know, you're answering as if you've been told what you will say will be used against you in the courts of law. But this is a conversation.
You ask me, where are you going? You ask me, where are you going? As I said, my political career will be reviewed in the near future.
All right,
I'm a
Mr.
Zambian. I've got ambitions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically, you leaving the Patriotic Front does not mean you have lost complete interest in politics. You will still continue just on another footing, not so?
Exactly.
Okay, now that you've mentioned that you will continue to be on a different footing, meaning you will continue to offer that microscopic eye towards the ruling party, the UPND. Obviously, when we had an interview with you some time back, you said 90 days or 100 days is too little a time to actually judge this administration. But this is like 9 months now into government. What is your general perspective of what they have done this far as a UPND?
Sharon, when you enter in a house where there was no cleaner in the house, it's not easy to take a broom and hope that you can clean all the corners. You need first to clean where you're going to sleep. You need to clean where your visitors are going to sit. You need to clean where you're going to make your food. You need to clean from where you're going to be working from. So these are the challenges that the new dons are going through. There's a lot of wrongs that were left behind and that were there to be cleaned, and we are trying to find a room to find those areas to be cleaned. And everyone is expecting, when are they going to enter into that bedroom? Okay? When are they? This is what they are expecting. You understand? So far, so good. They are doing their job, and I think I can say, let them continue the path that they are continuing until they can get with it now.
We've been talking about the issues pertaining to the cost of living, among other issues, Mr. Mutale. But last time you also gave your perspective on this matter. We want to find out if you have a suggestion on how the UPND administration rather can ensure that it addresses this as enshrined in its commitment. And prior to the August 12 general election, it was among the major pledges in terms of ensuring that the cost of living as well as the cost of doing business is actually reduced.
Thank you very much. I wanted to look at where we have come from 2021 August to where we are today. In the few past months, a lot of things have happened internally in the country and externally, internationally, that have actually brought the change. Let's talk about the cost of living.
So, Mr. Mutale, before you respond to our question, there's someone who wants to join our conversation.
Please.
Hello, you can go ahead with your contribution. Hello?
Hello?
Okay, I think we lost that caller who wanted to talk to you, Mr. Mutale. You can pick it up from where you left off.
Thank you. As I'm saying, from last year, 2021, up to where we are now, there are a lot of things that have happened so far, so good. And we cannot hold life for the new dawn to say their promises they have made, we should carry on as is. They need to adjust because the whole world, and I'm talking about the whole world, the cost of doing business, the cost of living, they have changed due to various factors. If you look at Europe, the cost of living is skyrocketing. It's a top of the day globally. So New Dawn is not exempted. New Dawn is part of the economy we are discussing. If we expect New Dawn to give us many kwacha today, it will not happen because the world is complaining about the same thing. The chain of reaction, which has come into perspective right now, cannot change the New Dawn to put their own. They just have to fit in what is happening now. And as the people, we need also to adjust and fit in to what is happening currently.
All right.
Find how we are going to progress as a team.
All right, Mr. Mutale, let's see if we can squeeze in this caller. Hello, good morning. Oh my God, it's gone. So let pick it up.
Yeah. So as the New Dawn right now, the promises that have been made the people of Zambia need to adjust, and we need also to look from what is happening around us, around the world. We need to adjust, and also how we accept those commitments. We need to adjust and fit in, and we should not learn to be critics, and we should not always say that it's me and the other one can't to the government, run the government today. They will also face the same way what is happening now, because it's not a new dawn problem. It's a global situation that has enforced us as well as a nation. So we need to accept those things. Changes we expected need to be readjusted and need to be refocused.
How long, Mr. Mtale, do you think the Zambian people can wait? Because, like I mentioned earlier, it's
not the Zambian people.
Mm-hmm.
We need to get to that notion, not the Zambian people.
But
it's a global situation. Global situation. I'll give you an example. If you look at Europe, some countries in Europe, they are seriously adjusting the issue of gas, the issue of food in the supermarkets. We are not exempted. We are not superstars in Zambia. There are countries out there that are far better than Zambia, but they are far suffering than Zambia concerning the state of living in Zambia. So we need to pull up our socks and start working together as a team to resolve, rather than being critics. Because when we are critics, we are not solving anything. There is no time to wait. It's time to adjust. When we adjust, we can work together and we can find the real truth of what is going on in our country.
We also want to, much as you have left the mighty patriotic front, as it is known, Mr. Mutale, do you have any piece of advice for them, considering that they will continue to exist as an organization?
It's a lost cause completely.
Do you have any message as you bid farewell? And before you answer this question, let's see if we can squeeze in this call.
Hello. Yes, please go ahead with your contribution.
Hello, we can hear you. Hello, good morning.
Please go ahead and speak to us. Well, I
think he cannot hear us. Can
you
hear us?
Okay.
All right.
I'm able to hear you.
Go ahead
with your contribution.
Yes, Mr. Mtale, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
We are fine. I'm fine. Yes. And you told me about the beautiful country of Mr. Mtale. Mr. Mtale, the chinga. Someone do about PS, safari yako ile. Na naendea kama ndio aichi. Na mwanzo kwangu kwa kesi kwa kitaba PS. Kitu hivi sana ndio bakitire icyabaro. Mwezo kwangu kwa FPJ University ya Mwanza kwa shikokushai. Mwanzo kwangu kwa yati Bangalore Regional Hospital. Mwezo kwangu kwa amakontrakt kwa kwa Mara mukubati kama muya mwine bari abachifutile shasha tabara ndikudefenki kamfundo kubati ibisi wabati yara takombisha amanto kuti bachikari branch apa terikundo kubati tuyatenesa PF no bati ichiri kuchamusarando kubati leadership y'abamuya yapari yo kurinda twari cyano ko twari bamona twari baperetse cyane ya bokondo ko bati batungurure bari so iyo itinabe mu nesamkari akabondo ko bati mwamuvinga mwamupf mwebe noko mureya nimumkushi aro kutanga ko kipanurando kundo ko bati bari cost of living. Cost of living is vyayo na hiki. Wale kiendo wale kubika precinto mulai. Wale
Sangama into the Monoco to Shaman to make a sham. Wasn't a great sham. That's what I said. Now, the situation during someone else like Sangama challenges I ain't key. I want to buy the Shri Shri California. I want to watch what in fact. But finally, what should I manage? So now, the patience, all is well under the leadership of Mr. Haka.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for your contribution there.
Mr. Mtale, would you like to speak to that?
No, thank you very much, and for that contribution. If we look at what he's raising, and I'm just going to just cutting in what he has said. Number one, Kiev has actually done so much wrongs, and Kiev has undermined the people of Zambia. The youth of Zambia, if you look at MMD, when they were in power, the youth, they were able to contribute to the society. The youth, they were part of the bigger picture in the society. When the MMD left, the youth became disgruntled in the Patriotic Front. During the Patriotic Front race to go to State House, they found the solution of abusing the youth, turning the youth into the fighting militia for the party. And we saw cadreism in a different angle. We saw serious bloodshed among the youth and among the political parties. This was the footstep planted by Patriotic Front. I was inside, and I listened, I watched, I worked, I tried to stop it from the inside. And again, let's talk about the cost of living in Patriotic Front. Patriotic Front did not care about the people. Patriotic Front cared about itself. Even the leaders that were put in to run in Patriotic Front, I can say it's about 5%. It's about 5% that is actually did what we are supposed to be doing. Nobody could have done 5%. Okay, the rest of leadership, it was something I cannot explain. They have taken the party and the people of Zambia as their own company, And how Kiev ran the government, it was 2 provinces. Do not look at us, not shop to register. We know what we are doing. Always we know what we are doing. I took my stance at every angle I could inside to try to collect things. When we were hoping to go to the election, when we were campaigning, I saw a disaster and I spoke out within the ranks. People of Zambia were very loyal because the manifesto of Patriotic Front designed by President Michael Chiruta, so rest in peace, then was a good manifesto. And they were hoping on that one day to happen. But in the reality, it was a curtain we are hiding behind. We are hiding behind the curtain. And that curtain we are hiding in is where we are now today. They were playing the game against themselves. They have taken, I'll give you an example, and I'm not going to shine about that. Leadership of PF, how it has been put in. The Secretary General went countrywide and he planted his people from one province, from one district, his people. And this has come to right now, when they started now also, the current deputy president, he put his people in power. The former Secretary General, he claimed foul because his people are removed. It was a 30 degrees angle that he selected to put. Okay? So the people of Zambia and the PF members that were in Patriotic Front, It was a province of, it's a party of two province leadership. Look into the PF. You tell what is in PF now. What is in PF? And what they can pick from one province for camouflage. But the reality, it's still called Guapula style. Okay? And that Guapula style has to come to an end with the immediate effect. Let the people of Zambia and let the members of Patriotic Front build the reality with the immediate effect. We want all the provinces to participate. We want all the provinces and the people of Zambia to benefit. Ministers in PF, they benefited. There are contracts that were given to the minister. When you are a sitting minister, how would you give yourself a contract in the ministry? And the Zambians out there, Zambian businessmen out there, they are not doing anything. Because the minister is a contractor, is a businessman, is everything. You know? There was no one on the wheel in that government. Nobody was on the wheel. Those things were brought before the leadership of the party. And the president also, President Chavalugu, went in and bring that voice. His voice was very low, was not heard. And what is he going to change now?
Okay, just hold your thought.
Going to change. The best have spoken.
Just hold your thought, Ms. Amzala. We have someone who wants to speak to you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Madam. How are you?
Fine, thank you. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Then you go ahead with your contribution.
My name is John Ibango.
Yes?
Yes, I'm calling from the camp of Bote.
All right, please go ahead with your contribution.
Yeah. Contribution is for but it's there and that's why Babula PF na UPND. UPND patani wa PF kuti na randa tuyati tufia ngwino kapali fia mbele ni kapitalism because capitalism yali kwata magasana yali pamungu kuchira ba polisi chintu ke twale ishanya ko sana but not kuli ififyo tena ngo economy yali fie ngwino tatwale kwata problem ili yote na ngufya kushiteto twale shite munda la kulingana leso file twaikana yote fyari punch but the problem kanino shitalomba ifinto na tungalanda tuloleleko twala lorela how long la president amenelo tabalaingira ba research barelanda kwebati nganangira by 10 hours 14 hours wacha file ya chitaishi ifile twaishi wanokushibatoa la president tubatila ile but shari kano kushika ero nomba basachinja nomba twakuna lolele nikuyinga sara tutwale shitaka tushinga ni 15 kwacha boto but this time tuleshita pali 40 but sara tulepanga mnomile Mzambia kati panga sara di Mzambia tuleshita pali 40 kwacha kayaka 5 years.
Okay.
2.5 right now, tuleshita kati when you want to debate.
All right.
So, a problem is to find no shita. Kapuli no kweba tio ifintu fiaraba kuino awe because of the high.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. Mr. Mtale is talking about the high cost of living, and what do you make of that contribution?
I think for me, from what he is stating, I necessary to remind you, you are referring to cooking oil. Recently, I was in Europe. When I was in Europe, the government has passed a law in Europe to say that the cooking oil, you cannot buy 3-4 bottles as a family. Each family is allowed to take 1 maximum 2 bottles from the supermarket. Why? Because there is a shortage in the world of cooking oil currently due to what is happening around Europe and around the world. There's a shortage. When there is a shortage, the demand that is coming from the people is very high. And also, we are saying we are making cooking oil in the country. But I want you to look at the ingredient of making that cooking oil in the country. What is our source of those ingredients? If all the ingredients are 100% in the country, the story could be different soon, but not with immediate effect. That part, I have experienced it not only in Zambia, but outside Zambia and the other European countries. And it's actually going to get worse than from where you are speaking. I want us to move from where we were and where we thought things were right. We need to start making things as a team. The cost of living is not going to go down anytime soon. It's going to be very high around the world. The United Nations has warned currently that the cost of living is going to go high. The message that was made by the New Dawn, that we are going to change things, that message and the tone has to be a reality now. There's a message for campaign. And there's a message for reality. Now, this is the reality. Things have shifted. They never saw the future, but they saw the president. The president's currently where they were then. But where they have reached now, and where the world has shifted to now, we need to adjust, and they also have to adjust. And the people of Zambia, we need to start adjusting. When you talk of, PF was the camouflage, I was in the forefront. We thought kind of making things better. Things in PF, first, in pretense, everything was better. That's what we need to believe. Good things are very painful to accept. But I was one of them who lived in denial as well, hoping that tomorrow we can change this, the other day we're going to change this. I was there, and I saw how. You need the capacity, you need big brain intellectual to have things change. And what was missing in PF is intellect. There's no intellectual here, completely nothing. As I said, we were crowds, crowds were there, We need to be realistic now.
Okay, Mr. Mtale, let's weigh in our topic of discussion this afternoon, or this morning rather, for the breakfast show. Your views on the recently announced statement.
So as we let you go now, Mr. Mtale, I want you to also look at our topic of discussion. You will get your perspective as a citizen. The president has suggested that Zambia should abolish the death penalty in the Zambian statutes. We want to get your perspective as a former presidential for the PF as well. Yeah.
You see, I think I want to agree with the president. The death penalty has been there. Yesterday it was the African Day. And if you look at from Cape Town to Cairo, Africans have been subjected to so much atrocities, and some of these policies that have been passed into our statutory laws does not save the people of Zambia. It disadvantages Zambia and the rest of Africa. We need to start removing those laws that were imposed for the people of Africa. During the slavery, those laws were suitable for slavery. Not now. We are living our lives in a democratic society. That is not only Zambia removing that, calling off the death row. In Standard region, there are 2 countries that have made announcements in the last 2-3 years to remove the death sentence. That is the right direction, and I want to accept that death sentence must be removed. If you are convicted, when you are convicted as the prisoner or whatever atrocities, we still need you, despite of what demon has possessed you. We will send you to go and grow cabbage to the prison. You will still be useful. We cannot allow that.
All right, Mr. Msale, your concluding remarks finally on this show this morning.
I just want to thank the members of Patriotic Front that I have met, I have worked with. I want to thank the youth. I want to thank the women. They are so tremendous. And not to forget the people of Munari that I represented there as a member of parliament. Hope for them. I love them all. And I want to say to them, may Almighty God be with them and guide them all. It was a nice moment being with them. It was a good time working with the Patriotic Front. It's time to go and it's time to move on. You know, I've done my part. I was not recognized in the Patriotic Front to my effort of putting, and I think it's time that I have to make my decision known soon. And today, I think I'm resigning from Patriotic Front. I make it official and it is with immediate effect. I look no back. I want to thank them all. And those that I have offended within Patriotic Front, and those that I did not know how I offended them, I want to appreciate them and say, I apologize if I rubbed you wrongly, and if we did not agree on anything. I always emphasized, I've got my vision that I wanted to see Patriotic Front that benefited all. It was not it, but I think for me as visual talent, it ends here as a member of Patriotic Front. I sign off and I thank you to all PF members. God bless you all.
You've left us speechless, Mr. Mtari. Thank you so much for coming through as usual, but obviously you still remain an important stakeholder in the governance of this country. And we will call on you one time after the other to just contribute on the happenings in this country. Otherwise, for now, we wish you good luck and we wait for that big announcement, obviously, in your political endeavor. Politics is quite addictive, and obviously you're still in the race, just not knowing where. But we are expecting you to announce where you're going soon. Thank you so much.
We just hope you tell us as well.
Thank you very much, Sharon. Say again, Patrick?
We just hope you tell us first as well where you'll be going to.
You will be first to know.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
What an interesting conversation.
It seems to be sometimes he has reformed. He's saying God bless you too much.
Yeah. You know what? Especially when you watch too much of Camnet TV.
I know, right?
You tap into the anointing.
Tap into the anointing. These are holy grounds. I always say that. When you reach here, man, everything goes.
Exactly. Yeah, that's an interesting conversation we've had.
Quite an interesting conversation we've had with Mr. Mtali.
And I didn't expect that, if you ask me, Sharon.
Because he's been so keen on making sure that the Patriotic Front is clean and he takes over the wheels of the party.
But he says it's uncleanable today.
It's uncleanable today. It's a U-turn. It's a serious U-turn, man.
Yeah, it is. It is quite a big pronouncement. Well, Mr. Mtali, I think for those who may not have been aware, he was a mobilization member. He actually, we interviewed him on several occasions. Even here on Camnet TV in the build-up to the August 12 general election.
Exactly.
He told us on the same platform that he had to use his own personal resources to help finance party activities, to help with the mobilization, purchasing of party materials, also getting involved in various activities as a mobilization committee member.
Yes.
He told us that he had to just do that for the love of the party, and he was quite an active member of the Patriotic Front. And though he did not has not spent much time in the party, Sharon, and he is already leaving the party. And he told
because
us
it's uncleanable.
Yeah,
according to him, the party is uncleanable. Yeah, and it's a circus that has no fans, you know, watching. So really, he says he doesn't want to be part of that circus that has no direction.
Yeah, we need to play that clip where the president actually did say about the issue of abolishing the death penalty. We'll be doing that a little later, but first of all, we have to zoom in this story from Dante Saunders, Sharon, where Mr. Saunders has his own perspective over the recent apology by Kabushi Constituency Member of Parliament, Bowman Rusambo. Let's get to listen to this clip.
This is where Bowman Rusambo is now, right at the moment. He's come down to earth to drink water with us. And weather is going to be the same. When he's filled himself with water, he may fly back up in the sky again thinking he's big. This is a good lesson for politicians. Today they can be talking a lot, and tomorrow they are going to be mixing with us. This is what these politicians, Bowman Nusambo, I cannot accept his apology, because once he is full again and he thinks that HH is controlling the ACC, DEC and the police. That's what he thinks by apologizing to HH. But it's not going to work. The people of Zambia will never forget what he has done to us.
Good nice.
He must go through the courts of law. And when he is brought to book, if he wants to apologize after that, when he serves his sentence, then and then only, I will accept his apology.
Local authorities in Zambia have the potential to be one of the most thriving sectors in the country, as they generate income through paid-for billboards and the collection of levies in bus stations and markets, among other ventures. Councils in the country have, however, been known for going months without pay, despite them generating income. The United Party for National Development UPND administration has expressed commitment to correcting the situation through removing political party cadres from bus stations and markets, as it is alleged that these have been pocketing funds meant for the local authorities. Despite this move, the situation at some local authorities like the Lusaka City Council LCC is yet to improve significantly, as some of the same problems have continued. Recently, a group of council workers at the Lusaka City Council reached out to Camnet TV, claiming to not have been paid for 15 months. On 3rd May 2022, Local Government Service Commission Chairperson Axon Sejani charged local authorities to up their game, stating that huge amounts of money meant for the council coffers was not reaching its destination.
There's leakage there. There are serious leakages there, which are making our councils not realize the revenues that are due to them. So, task number one to our people that are manning this council, the chief executives, these we are shuffling. Please seal these loopholes.
In an interview, Harry Mwangankumbula, Ward 12 Councillor Aaron Mwanza, whose ward also houses Lusaka's Commercial Market, says plans have been made to take all revenue collection digital.
The issue now, as Lusaka City Council, what we have resorted is to go cashless. Yes, because handling cash is becoming so sophisticated. At the end, people may start preferring what resources. Yes, so the best way of how we can maximize revenues from the markets is going at cashless, of which we are in course, because it will maximize revenue collection definitely, because no one will be handling cash. Marketeers, they'll be paying directly. So we've engaged even Kazan, and they are very willing to come on board to assist in the issues of going at cashless.
He further explains that deliberations to take the same services to bus stations will be discussed at the next full council meeting, urging other local authorities around the country to take the same path. Zipporah Mshala, Camnet News, Lusaka.
There you have it. Quite interesting stories, Sharon, coming out there. Your perspective on Mr. Sonda's perspective regarding the issue of not, he says, we can't forgive Boma Nusambo. He just wants to evade justice and everything.
No, but then, Patrick, this is something that we've spoken about, and I think I did a story with 2 stakeholders or 3 stakeholders who said the UPND administration should not give amnesty to people who are supporting the ruling party. You know, like it was happening in the UP Patriotic Front. When somebody is in the opposition, is giving an opposing view, they will be squeezed to the latter, such that they return to the party. And once they return to the party, you just start seeing their cases going into nolles, until almost all the cases are dropped, you know, and those people are okay. We can cite examples, obviously. Patrick Soko, you are aware of that. But then the concern for many stakeholders was, this man is facing corrupt allegation charges. So why is he apologizing now? It was quite bad timing. You know, the Pungweta Sakamana thing made him worry so much that he apologized, hoping that maybe he will be let go of his charges, as it was happening in his administration. But then people are very sharp now. They actually went ahead and gave their opinion, trying to remind government that this shouldn't happen. Justice should take its course. So really, Mr. Saunders, even if he's saying apologize, his apology is not accepted, you can't say that, especially in a Christian nation like Zambia.
Yeah.
We've seen a number of people apologizing, and going back to the patriotic run, you see Charles Kakoma, we've seen Ephraim Belemu. Is it Belemu?
Yes,
Ephraim, right?
right, yes.
Ephraim, right? Going back to the party, apologizing. Not so long ago, these people were speaking ill of the UPND, you know, after being loyal members for years.
Yes, they described them as monsters.
Exactly. They apologized, they went back to the party, they were welcomed. According to them, they said, welcome back home. So really, Boma Lusambo, yes, has not been a UPND member, but once somebody offers an apology, I think it's only right that you accept, but tread with caution. You know, you don't forget who they are.
Yeah, I think
You
for
can't
me,
go
I
about
think
saying
even Bowman was also categorical in his statement, in
Yes.
the sense that he also stated that
I will comply.
He realized that the approach was taken towards attacking the head of state
Was
not
beyond.
was not conducive. It was not advisable, Sharon. So he realized at personal level to say, no, I think I need to just stick to issues, because every time these people are off the court session, they would always face the media and just talk about President Hakainde Hichilema, even if he's not the arresting officer or whatever, but everything they were attributed to the president and everything. So and this has been quite an issue which has also agitated United Party for National Development, UPND members, Sharon, because they feel that the president is being disrespected. And like you said, Sharon, his apology cannot be mistaken for an amnesty to be forgiven for probably alleged crimes that he may have been committed. Besides, he hasn't been convicted yet, so we cannot convict him in the
Public court of opinion.
where
But
the
anyways,
Chief Secretary is the main lawyer. So we need to be systematic as we talk about this issue. Even Mr. Saunders himself, like you said, it's a Christian nation. You forgive, but it is not in President HH's. It is not in President HH's jurisdiction to
say no.
To say no.
I will not
or
forgive you.
He can forgive as a person. He has to forgive as a person. That's the laws of Zambia are the ones that are taking the course in terms of dealing with matters that pertain to crime or any other thing. So we cannot be judging others to say, no, I won't forgive you because this it's like you want to evade justice. Besides, how do you know that he is always evading justice when you haven't even he hasn't been even convicted?
Exactly.
Probably maybe he may be acquitted of the charges. You don't know. Like you say, Sharon, you may not know the outcome of the court, not until probably the matter reaches the logical conclusion.
Exactly.
Our hope is that just like other stakeholders, like the Gears Initiative, have suggested that these apologies or whatever should not be linked to seeking refuge in terms of being forgiven for alleged crimes. The apology is on the other side. The court issues are on the other side. The issues pertaining to the DEC and the Anti-Corruption Commission are also on the other side. So we need to be cognizant of that fact and ensure that even as the new Dawn administration pursues the fight against corruption, that is a major issue they need to be focusing on. Otherwise, if they start diverting, people will think they have lost direction. But so far, there has been a huge political will from the head of state himself, whom we have asked on several occasions regarding the commitment to fight corruption.
He says the rule of law will take its course.
Will take its course, and they won't shoot anyone. It be a UPND cadre. If you are a cadre and you are found wanting, you have to just face the law. Just like we saw Kelvin Sampa, he was accused of some allegations, which the law took its course. The police were on him, and there was nothing like because you joined the party the UPND
2 days ago, we'll let you go.
And that stance should be maintained because even us as the media, we are observing those maneuvers, because at the end of the day, ours is to inform the people of whatever is unfolding on governance issues, and we continue to do just that here on Camnet television, Sharon.
Indeed, Patrick. For now, let's take a short break. When we return, we'll be zooming into some of the stories that made headlines. And Patrick, we'll talk about football. Obviously, it's still happening, Patrick. You've been very quiet this morning. Is it because your team is not doing fine? Or...
You're being sincere, Mama.
No, I'm not, because I don't know.
I thought my team was your team.
But you haven't bought me a jersey yet. You haven't wooed me for that. So really... Let's take that short break.
Be speaking
the same language. No, we are not going to speak the same language because you haven't done what you're supposed to do.
These guys who always lose in terms of betting will be on us if we show that divisively.
Today we have Amos. You remember the story I told you about? Cash out.
He failed to cash out. He failed to cash out at the
We actually got the word. The cash out after putting in few coins. He was given an opportunity to do a cash out for more. But he said, no, we'll win.
And
the following morning, oh my goodness, there was nothing.
It's a pity.
Let's take a short break. When we return, we'll continue the conversation. Good morning.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lukalu, all the way from South Africa. You are watching Camnet channel, not just another channel. God bless you. Stay tuned.
Is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
The New Dawn government has taken a decision, a big decision, to end the death penalty in our country. We will work with Parliament to run through this process as we transition away from the death penalty and focus on the preservation, rehabilitation of life while still delivering justice for all. This is important. We believe in it. Countrymen and women, we appeal to the present generation to preserve and deepen our freedoms. We will not take the freedoms we already enjoy for granted, but we will hold them in trust for future generations. Africa Freedom Day is a symbol of our collective commitment to secure a better future for all.
Well, that's what we've been talking about. President Hakainde Hichilema there giving a statement on this very, very important topic. Patrick?
Yes, but I'm concerned with the statement the president used. He said we, as the New Dawn government, we have taken a stance to abolish the law on to abolish the death penalty. Like they have taken a stance.
That's what they want.
But I think you would have used a suggestive.
In a democratic country
in
like
Zambia,
so we are consulting
because the cabinet just makes the
decision, and then it's supposed to be law. You know.
We have banned Sharon. We have taken a state from wearing a specs. Whether she will be seeing or not,
that's her business.
That maybe probably that. But all the same, if you ask for my personal opinion, I'm okay with that. But
it needs to be consultative.
But I think my perspective is not someone's perspective. I think in a democratic state that has always to be taken care of in terms of understanding what others are saying.
Democracy is very expensive. We've talked about this, Patrick. It's very expensive because each and everything that needs to be done needs to be consultative. And the process of consulting people in the 10 provinces is quite expensive. So really, much as, yes, government has taken this stance, but it needs to be brought to the fore of the public so that they make a decision as well, whether this should go ahead or not. But like the way they have done, if at all it is what it is, it's a bit dictatorial in a way.
Yes,
it's not democratic.
We have taken a stand.
Yes, it's not democratic, but democracy provides that people, I mean, it's the rule of the people, by the people, and for the people. So really, everything surrounding democracy is for the people.
Yeah.
So therefore, they need to have a greater say than those that are charged with a responsibility to be to lead the country.
For example, the president did ask previously, say, we have laws that favor criminals.
Yes.
What should you think we need to do to address corruption issues? If you it to the people.
But you know, at the same time,
so that you, Sharon, should do. Maybe you have a better idea. Maybe so that people can suggest. But on this one, I think he's saying we have taken a stand. And when they take a stance like this, for example, when we know that the government has more numbers, the UPND has more numbers in parliament, because we already know that it's a walkover. You get it? It's a walkover because it's a position that has been taken, and there's nothing that can be done to reverse the decision. So I think probably we need to be more considerate and sensitive
to the use of words.
Yeah, because sometimes this law, I think it's a flexible law.
Yeah.
But we may have a law that may be.
Maybe they have taken it as government, as him personally, do not sign for people to be, you know.
But just in case I say to abolish, we have taken a stance to abolish.
Anyways, that's.
So when I was just listening, I just thought it was too straightforward because for me, this matter, even under the PF, I remember myself writing about the death penalty because, like I indicated, Sharon, when we were starting. Zambia has been an abortionist state, and the European Union, most of the time, does hold a meeting to actually recognize that fact. There's even a day that countries reflect on the same declaration of being an abortionist state, in the sense that people are not convicted. So I covered the European Union. By then, there was Alessandro Mariani as the EU head of delegation, where they were happy with Zambia's position that it remained an abortionist state, but we also ignited conversations to say we need to start the conversation whether we need to get rid of it in the
completely.
Yes, but for me that was a suggestive, and we've been talking to various stakeholders under successive governments, including the Minister of Justice, to say how can this be approached. Even the Minister of Justice, the position has been that it's a stakeholder consultation. Then we agree. Even the Law Development Commission, even the Law Association of Zambia, we also need to understand what is their stance of. For example, the Law Development Commission is doing those reviews, Sharon, on changing some of the laws there, and we saw them. They also did quite a consultative process, even engage relevant stakeholders to ensure that it actually conforms to what other people may be needing. Because Sharon, you may be thinking, hey, when 5 years from now, because you are not aware that things were changed, you are not consulted, you may think that actually this person has been convicted to death without knowing that the death penalty is not in our
no
statute.
longer.
So
you know?
you have to just be made aware,
I'm
and
made
that
aware.
so that you know to say, okay, in future people may just be convicted to a life imprisonment. And Mr. Mutare did also give us his perspective, Sharon. He also backed the president's suggestion that it can be abolished, and that people need to be reformed, as well as those who be convicted under life imprisonment. They can be growing the cabbage and everything. In fact, prisons have actually reformed very much, Sharon, to a tune that there's education in prison.
Yes.
There's access to health, though they need to be strengthened. There's also skills development. Even skills development in prison is even better than outside here, because people, most of the people who go there, they come out with a skill. It be carpentry, for instance, welding, mechanics. You know, people go out with certificates while coming in prison, which is a reformatory aspect of that. And we just want to ensure that as a country, we continue to better the prison services, because at the end of the day, everyone is a potential victim of those wars. So you just have to make sure that the environment is conducive. And I'm happy on this subject that the president was a victim, and he witnessed how the
so he's speaking from a point of knowledge.
How people sleep,
he knows,
Sharon.
exactly.
And you and I have been covering these stories where, for instance, you go on a Christmas donation where you see how these people live their lives. We also have circumstantial children in these facilities.
Exactly.
So, but how are we safeguarding this population, and to ensure that they are not dehumanized? Because at the end of the day, it is only the restriction of movement that is hindered. All the rights have to apply, and we saw the right applying in terms of the right to vote, which was a milestone for Zambia during the August 12 general election, Sharon.
Indeed, Patrick, quite elaborate there. You speak like an advocate for the prisoners out there. I hear you, and obviously they hear you. They're excited about it. As we draw close to a conclusion of this breakfast show, Patrick, do you have anything in the world of sports?
In the world of sports, we are still talking matters to do with the Champions League, Sharon, because it's just a day before we play the Champions League. The Champions League is involving Liverpool and Real Madrid.
And you
are?
And
the Chipolopolo.
And you are?
And I'm Madrid. And I want to initiate you into Madrid. So we are buying the 2022-2023 jersey.
If you buy me a jersey,
we are buying
maybe
that jersey.
I will.
Every weekend you have to put it on. And you will be facilitating for you so that you'll be appearing on Off the Pitch. This is a prestigious program we have here at Camnet TV, which is anchored by Amos Lungu, where we discuss various issues pertaining to the sports fraternity, Sharon. We speak on sport in details, even the predictions and everything about the Champions League. Just get in touch on Off the Pitch on Saturday, because the match will be played in the evening between Liverpool and Real Madrid. So you can also give us your prediction who's going to win. But as you give us your prediction, also you have to bet right. as usual, make sure you just don't
put your money where you think it's worth.
Yes, so you just do the right thing there. And we also have our national team, Sharon, that is preparing to take on Ivory Coast. We are starting with an away game to play up against the Ivorians. The Ivorians are not a small fish in African football. And Zambia has to do the necessary preparations. A draw for Zambia, for me, will be a plus, on condition that we are going to beat them when we come on our own soil. But if we beat them, then we are on our course towards qualifying, because when you want to qualify for tournaments like the Africa Cup, you have to beat the best teams. That's the way. You can't win a World Cup without beating the biggest teams or the strongest teams.
You can't win the world. You can't win the. You can't qualify for the tournament if you are. Your target is beating our provincial capital, Malawi.
Malawi, yes. You see, that should be your target. or our cousins from Zim.
You know,
you can't just be aiming for that. You see, you just make sure that you beat the best. You beat the Cameroonians. You beat the Ivorians. So at the end of the day, Sharon, even if you are winning the tournament, you say we have beaten the best.
Yes.
You just can't be saying we have beaten Comoros and you're saying we are happy, we have won. Sometimes some countries that have not been footballing nations, they're the ones you get excited over in terms of securing victory. So those are the things we need to focus on. We just hope that the new coach, the Polo coach, will deliver as expected, because Zambians are expectant, because we missed out on the Africa Cup on 2 occasions. and concurrently, and after
Quite
winning the
embarrassing,
AFCON.
after winning one, so we need to bring it back home. Let's talk about Camnet Stars. There's also Camnet Stars. Anything new from there?
Quite a number of developments, but the major pronouncement about Camnet Stars, Sharon, is that we have won the league. We emerged victorious in the league, and actually this is a team that started earlier this year, and managed to compete, and we had a lot of games on hand, and they had to just make sure that they cover up for the games, to make sure that they are at par with all the teams that have been playing the league. And the team did fine, Sharon, and we just wanted to thank the technical bench led by few days. They've been doing quite a good job, Sharon. The team, the administration here at Camnet TV has been providing the financial support, and on the technical side, we have quite a good team there, led by a few days. These are coaches that know the Zambian football very well, and they have actually made sure that these the boys are shaped to be competitive. So they'll be moving into the next tier of the competition. We're going to see how they'll perform in that tier of competition. We hope they also scoop that one, because the overall target, Sharon, for Camnet Stars is that they should be playing the Eden University League. And when they start playing the Eden University League, the overall objective is that Camnet Stars should be playing in the Super League, playing up against Nkana, Zanaco, Zesco United, name it. So Sharon, it's not a small project that is existing here. And our media director, Amos Lungu, will be actually informing us on that issue during off the pitch, because the league is done, and Camnet TV secured all the right points to just top the table.
All right, Patrick, thank you so much to everybody who's been watching. We've had the Health Corner. We zoomed into some of the stories. We had an interview with Bizwa Mutele, who is now former Patriotic Front National Mobilization Committee member and former presidential aspirant for the Patriotic Front, and probably the Zambia at large. But today he has announced his resignation, or rather leaving the party, and soon he will announce where he is going. According to him, he couldn't mention, but we can only suspect that he may want to go back home.
To the UPND.
But yes, to the UPND. But that is a story for another day. When he's ready to announce where he's going, he will give us that news.
Thank you. There you have it. You've been in conversation with me, Patrick Soko, and Sharon Kalimbula. Until next week, when we come back with a governance and policy component of the Camnet Breakfast. And be sure to join Prudence Trot and Miriam Kaimba for breakfast, for business.
Business for breakfast. I don't know why he always twists his tongue. Join them tomorrow for business for breakfast, and hopefully we are hosting a senior government official who will elaborate a number of issues regarding the business environment, the economic environment of this country. Stay tuned and keep watching Camnet TV.
Remember,
Camnet TV, it's not just another channel.
Yeah, not just another channel.
Indeed.